Hi friends, good week. Vladimir here with you. Welcome to my weekly review for the last week of January 2011. Who would believe that the first month is almost behind of us? Well, what did we have in the last week? We had the indices reached the critical levels that I'm talking about, and it looks like we are really getting ready for the big correction. But on the currencies, the situation is different, and the dollar is keeping losing its power. The euro finally and successfully closed about 135, even above 136, and I will talk about its levels. But I want to go over and start with the dollar index, right? With the US dollar index and try to reanalyze this one. Well, after we had this double top here, right? After we had this double top here, we had this line, right? We have this sideways move, and it looks like we are going to see a duplication of this move, right? It looks like we are going to have something like that, something like a duplication around these levels, right? All the indicators are bearish, and it looks like we are really going somewhere close to 76.50, maybe 77, somewhere around these levels again, right? After this duplication, of course, it will take time because it's not happening in 2 bars, but it takes a while. But still, this is the direction, right? If we take a look on the weekly chart, then what can we see? We can see a uptrend line that should bring us to the same level that I said and I mentioned before, right? This support level, right? So we have this uptrend line that you can see here even better, right? Here, and it looks like we are going to see this level reached again, right? We might see even a double bottom here. We might see even double bottom here with a bullish divergence that will be created. But it's still early because it's a weekly chart for the US dollar index, and I personally think that the dollar will recover at least for a few weeks or even a few months. But it will take a while, and until then, it looks like the US dollar will keep lose its strength, right? On the monthly chart, you can see that we are probably are about to have a triangle, right? Well, to be honest, friends, it is a bearish triangle. It is a bearish triangle. If the US dollar will break this level, but it's a monthly chart, it will take a long period till we see it, if even, right? But I just want you to remember it because it's a possibility. It's a possibility, and if it happens, then the US will lose power for a long time. Right? But it's still early. It's just an idea. Let's see how it happens. Anyway, on the weekly chart, we can see also this triangle, but we can see the direction is down until this, probably again to this uptrend line, right? And on the daily chart, we can see the break of this sideways moves and double top, and is aiming all the way to the duplication as well. Right? The indicators are bearish. The double doji that was created here was broken down, right? And it's a very um, powerful pattern, and it looks like we are going down. On the 4-hour charts, the short-term charts, we can see that probably the US dollar will make some correction. Why? Because we have a real serious, as you can see here, we can see a real serious divergence being created here, right? Until all these three. Well, so I do think the US dollar will recover, but for long run, we still have we still have for it and to be ready to expect US lose its power. I want to go over the euro dollar right now, and I want to try and explain my expectations about it. Well, in the beginning of the previous week, I told you that if the euro breaks the 134, it should also break the 135 here. Okay, so we can make sure the euro is bullish, and it was broken during the week. The euro was struggling on the 135 level with so many corrections, many zigzags. This is how it looked. Take a look here. Right, 135, 1 2 3, and here 4 attempts to break this level. Finally it happened during Friday, and now we can say the euro is really bullish. But is that enough to join and say the euro are going again to 140 or even 150 for long run? No. The investors, would you believe it or not, the investors are still out. They are still on the sidelines, still on the fence, still didn't jump to buy the euro. And why? Well, first of all, because 137.50 until 138 is a resistance area, as you can see here, right? I 99.9% sure that the euro will go and reach this level during the next days. But I believe that from this level we will see a strong correction, maybe for 2 or even 300 pips correction for a down move. If we take a look on the 4-hour charts, we can see that the euro is trying to create some kind of wedge, right? Some kind of wedge, and we can see this bearish divergence being created here. We can't say no to this divergence, right? After such a divergences, usually we see serious corrections. So I do believe that the euro is going to visit 137.50, even 138 maybe, right? 137.50 will be the first target. All right, the euro will go there, I believe, and the RSI and the stochastic and even the MACD, all of them are pointing up. Okay, so in the short term, you might look this target to be reached and look to buy, right? But I believe that the euro will correct. Maybe even because we saw on the US dollar on 4-hour chart that the dollar is getting ready for a correction. Right, for a correction. So I do believe we will see it. Right. So the conclusion, the summary, 137.50 probably will be reached soon during the next week even. But it will be a good idea to look for a corrections somewhere around this level. That's about the euro. What about the British pound? Well, the British pound is also a controversial. Why? Because the inflation in Britain is getting higher and higher. Right? All of the investors are expecting Marvin King, to take steps, right, and maybe even raise the interest rates. And the next meeting will be during February, the next inflation report. All the investors will be waiting for Marvin King to say his word. We might see head and shoulders being created here if Marvin King be will not be clear about his attempt to fight the inflation. Right? We might see a head and shoulders or maybe a double top here with a bearish divergence. But it's still early because everyone expects and look for Marvin King, and if he will fight this inflation, it will take the British pound all the way to 167 or maybe even to 170 level again. Alright? So definitely we are going to see interesting periods for British pound. What about the short terms? On the 4-hour on the daily chart, we see that the MACD little lost its power. Right, the stochastic is pointing down, and and despite all these fights around 160 level, this resistance, right, the British pound is still bullish. But I do believe we are about to see correction, and I will explain why. We might see a double top here, right? A double top here with a very critical bearish divergence. We might see it, right? And if you want to look more technical analyze, then look for this, right? Then look for this, friends, right? This channel was broken down up, and for technical analyze, this should be the target between the low and the high, right? That means that probably the double top will be the last station before the next serious correction, right? 156 is the next critical support. We might see the British pound correct all the way to 156.50, maybe 157. I am bullish for long run, but I'm neutral for the upcoming period. Right? The situation is not clear, and despite all the bullish signs for the real long run, I am neutral for the upcoming period. What about the next interesting pairs, friend? So, and I will explain why the situation is not clear. Watch the New Zealandian dollar. Does it look like bullish? Not at all. Not at all. It doesn't have any bullish signs. Watch the MACD. Watch the RSI. Watch the stochastic. All of them are pointing down. All of them are pointing down. That means that the dollar is about to correct. If we go to the daily chart for the New Zealandian, for example, we can see that we had this double top and this bearish divergence, but this support line still was not broken, right? And we have also this uptrend line, right? We have this uptrend line and these Bollinger Bands, right? Boundaries. When this all will be broken, we will be pointing down. What about the Australian dollar? The same situation. The same situation. We have this support line that still was not broken. All the indicators are pointing down. Even the weekly chart is still pointing down. So will we see another continuing down move of the Australian? Probably. But it's too early to jump in. It's too early to jump in. Right? We have to wait for this support line being broken. Or if you want, right? If you want, wait for, sorry, here, yes, right? Wait for another retracement for the uptrend line if it happens at all, and then sell, right? In the 4-hour chart, the situation is the same. We can see on the 4-hour chart, some kind of channel here. It was a flag, right? It was a flag of all this move. It was broken. We probably are about to see a retracement to retest these levels, but the direction looks bearish, right? So it's a very controversial situation, as you saw. The euro is pointing up, the British pound is pointing up for long term, but for corrections, the Australian and the New Zealandian are pointing down. The US Canadian reached again the resistance level and then retraced down, but still somehow protect its bullish signs. So we might see another retracement for 101, maybe even, right? The dollar yen still keeps its bullish signs on the weekly chart. Even on the daily chart, this downtrend line was broken. Not for the long run here, but the close pricing was broken, right? So the situation is very, 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 very controversial, and it's very not clear. The situation does not look clear at all. So what does it mean? That we should go with the chart. The dollar, the US dollar index points that the US dollar will keep probably and gather strength all the way to the weekly support. So we should look for opportunities to do it on the short term 4-hour chart. We could look for retracement, for a correction on all the majors. What about the gold and the indices? Well, the gold is aiming the weekly uptrend line. Right? It's not a question at all right now. It's not a question at all right now. If we go to the daily chart, we can see the same situation. The support line was broken, right? Probably we will see some retracement, and then it will be a good opportunity to sell it all the way to the downtrend line. What about the silver? The same situation. We had these sideways moves, and I think I'm sorry, we are about to see a duplication of this move. Right, little retracement is possible, and then resell. All right. What about the indices? Well, I believe that the party began. Right, the weekly chart on the FTSE had this kicker down. I believe we're pointing down right now, all the way to the down a boundary of the Bollinger Band. The Nasdaq finished with with the engulfing and Marubuzu and kind of key reversal even with the bearish signs of the MACD. So I do believe we are about to see a correction. What about the S&P 500 and the Dow? Well, they both reached the critical levels I've been talking about, but the weekly chart finished with a dodgy for S&P 500. So we're going down for the daily chart, right? We're pointing this support line that has blocked the S&P 500. When it is broken, we are aiming down, right? We are aiming down. What about the Dow? The same situation. The bearish divergence is continuing down, is pushing down. We have this uptrend line here. We have this uptrend line here. We could go for a 4-hour chart, right? We can go. Sorry, this is the uptrend. It will be much clearer here. Sorry, 4-hour charts. All right, just a second here. Okay, we could mark this uptrend line, and despite all these spikes here, right, this is the many spots of the trend line. So, and we have on the 4-hour charts even the bearish divergence, right? We have the bearish divergence. So I do think that it will be bearish, right? It will be bearish, and the big down move will begin with the break of this uptrend line. So, friends, the FTSE and the Nasdaq are the stars, right? For the indices, the Dow and the S&P 500 will probably begin the same direction soon. Watch the euro, watch the British pound, watch the New Zealandian, the gold, and the silver, friends. It looks like we are going for interesting period for all of this. I hope you enjoyed this weekly review, because I did, and we are about to have a great period on the market, and definitely this is not the kind of period you want to be out. Right, so get ready for moves. Once the situation is a little clearer, we'll jump in. Right, watch my blog for daily updates. Watch the Twitter, watch the Facebook. I update there, of course. So thank you very much, my friend, and I want to wish you the best week and have a great profitable trade. Ciao, Vladimir.